For the students of Economics Toppers Lab channel, as I priorly discussed with you, perfect competition, conditions of perfect competition, average revenue, marginal revenue, perfect competition, cost, that is total cost, total variable cost, total fixed cost. Today, primarily I will discuss the average total cost, average fixed cost, average variable cost. After then, I will explain the firm equilibrium under perfect competition in long and short run. That is a topic very important for you students. Now come on the issue today. First of all, what is the average cost? Average cost. Simply per unit output. In perfect competition, cost is known as average cost. Generally, you will use short abbreviation AC, average cost, is equal to total cost upon total output. If you divide total cost by total output, you will derive the average cost. Now think about the structure of average cost curve. If we consider the structure of average cost curve. Generally, in production process, in beginning stage, quantity of capital is more, quantity of labor and raw material is less. As we increase the quantity of labor and raw material on that particular capital or machine, the machine began to fully utilize with increasing quantity of labor and raw material. Because of it, the total average cost or average cost began to fall. Because primarily the cost of fixed capital is more. But as we are utilizing more labor force, it is begin to fully utilize, per unit average cost begin to fall. You can see in this way, in beginning stage, average cost curve will downfall. It is because of optimum, this is average cost. This is output. Optimum utilization of fixed capital. Fixed capital. At this point where the average cost is lowest, this is known as optimum output. Optimum output, or you can say this Q is the optimum output, and this is the optimum cost or lowest average cost, because now the quantity of variable capital and fixed capital are optimally utilized. But as we increase further output beyond this point, what happened in an economy? The quantity of capital is less than, but the quantity of labor and other variable factor is more. That is why cost begin to increase. This is because of overutilization of fixed capital. This is actual where the output is constant for a short duration, where output is increasing in increasing order and order. Where output is constant, there is output is increasing in decreasing order. This is the point which you have to understand. In this way, the average cost curve structure always U-shaped. I am not going to discuss further because there are so many studies which show that average cost curve always LC. But no need to explain under this our economics topper YouTube channel, because this is the primary knowledge which you are needed for your academic as well as competitive exam. This is sufficient for your understanding. The structure of average cost curve always you see. One thing is clear. Second, I will discuss average variable cost. Average variable cost and average variable cost curves. This second is known as average variable cost and average variable cost curves. What kinds of structure of average variable cost? First, as priorly I discussed with you, when you derive the average cost, you divide the total cost by total output. Similarly, when you divide average variable cost ABC equal to, that is total variable cost upon total output. As the output increases, first the total variable cost decreases. Why? Think sharply. Because each additional labor or variable cost output increasing with increasing rate of labor. That is why per unit output cost or variable cost decreasing. Firstly, you are paying higher payment to the labor. They are not producing the more quantity. But as they are operating your machines, per unit labor output increases, but the cost is decreasing because output is increasing. That's why the structure of average variable cost also similar to average cost curve. Similar to average cost curve, say this is output, this is average variable cost. Now the two things is clear, and I explain again why this average variable cost is decreasing. Because of optimal utilization of fixed capital, or you can say per unit of variable factor, output is increasing with increasing rate, but when there are the more quantity of variable factors like labor, per unit of output decreases. As we say in economics, too many cooks spoil the kitchen. Different kinds of limitations, restrictions were arrived. That is why cost began to increase. There is no need to explain what are the fundamental factors, because there is the major discussion on this issue. I will discuss that one at higher level. Then you opt the economics as an optional paper for your civil service, UGC, NET, JRF, RBI services, or Indian economic services. Now come on the next point, average fixed cost. Average fixed cost. AFC. It also calculated similarly by dividing total fixed cost by total output. Actually, you will see here, per unit total fixed cost is known as average fixed cost. Point is clear? But you have to keep in mind, total fixed cost is always constant. It means per unit of output, average fixed cost always being constant. That is why average fixed cost curve always rectangular hyperbola. Just you can see here. This is average fixed cost curve. This is suppose output, and this is average fixed cost. You can see if the output is OQ and average fixed cost is say Okay. Now the total average fixed cost will be equal to O Q L K. If the output say increase up to this level, it seems to be touched to the what? X-axis, but it never touched. Suppose at this point M, suppose output is Q dash and quantity of average fixed cost is say K dash. Now the total average fixed cost or total fixed cost remaining the same. The area OK dash M Q dash always equal to this one. What does it mean? And this average fixed cost always rectangular hyperbola. Hyperbola. Why this is rectangular hyperbola? Fixed cost always constant per unit. Average fixed cost always constant. That is why the structure of average fixed cost rectangular hyperbola. At any point you can estimate on total output average fixed cost will be the same per unit. What I am saying, but per unit output average fixed cost will seems to be decline. Actually total fixed cost at every point of this curve will be constant, that will always equal to average fixed cost or total fixed cost. Now confusion is clear. I will further explain tomorrow. If you today one thing I explain you, completely see the picture of these three average costs, you can draw a diagram which represent all these three costs. Easy. What they are? Think about that. Suppose this is our average cost. Say this is average variable cost. Say this is average fixed cost. No. It is always downward slope. Average fixed cost. The difference in between two, just to understand, suppose this is the output. What is this? This is in actual average variable cost. This is in actual average fixed cost. This is in actual average fixed cost. And you can say this is total average cost. Or you can write down average cost always equal to average variable cost plus average fixed cost. Or you can derive this, suppose I denote this one say N, K, M. Now you can understand these equations very easily. What is Kn? Or average fixed cost is equal to average cost minus average variable cost. What is the average cost? That is Qk minus variable cost M, that is Qn, equal to that is An. You can derive in this way the difference cost by this curve. This is say output, this is say costs, average cost, average variable cost, average fixed cost. This diagram you have to keep in mind. When the output is increasing, average fixed cost seems to be touch the x-axis but never touch. And the difference between average cost and average variable cost will decrease consistently. It means per unit output average fixed cost decreasing but total fixed cost always constant at different level of output. You keep this point in your brain. This is the some extent complexity of in this explanation. Now the student, you are clear under this Economics Toppers YouTube channel. If you are taking interest in this channel, you will get maximum perfect knowledge regarding micro, macro, Indian economy as well as statistical analysis. I will also shortly start it for the 11th standard. Presently I am discuss some point regarding microeconomics. Thank you, student.